Sure. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Now, I must give credit where credit is due, because Gregory said it was my idea. Well, it's my idea to say we need to bring this forward, but really it was after a conversation I had with a brand partner yesterday who said, why don't people share? And, like I always tell you, there's inspiration everywhere to help our teams. So when our teams are asking questions, that's where we really can be the leader and step up and be like, I know the answer to that. And I may not know the answers to everything, but on this one, I think I have a pretty good clue. So I need to give a shout out to Linda Heron, who was actually the one who asked that question that inspired me to bring this to you guys today. So I love wearing my pilot headset because I get to hear you guys better, but hopefully it allows you to hear me better. But when I put this headset on, it reminds me of an experience I had one time. I didn't fly until I met my current husband. And of course, love makes us do some crazy things, doesn't it? So I had never been on a plane and I'm visiting him. We had a long distance relationship. I was in North Carolina, he was in Arkansas. And so I'm heading back home and there's a horrible storm. I mean, the sky is totally pitch black. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, and I just want to write notes. I just want to tell him, how much I enjoyed our visit, how much I love him, and what he means to me. And taking off. Now, before we take off, the pilot gets online and says, okay, everybody, buckle up. We're going to try to beat this storm. And I'm like, oh, okay. Mind you, this is my first time flying. So I'm writing these love notes, right? All of a sudden, I hear this voice in my head. What are you doing? Are you wanting the plane to come down? Do you want to be remembered that way? And I put my notebook away and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. There's this little boy over to my right. He's sick as a dog, and his father gives him the vomit bag. So he's just, expelling his guts into this bag. And then the plane levels out. Now, mind you, we are dropping 500 feet at a time. I mean, it's like a deep roller coaster ride. So the ride levels out. We see the clear sky. The kid is over there. He still has his little baggie. And he goes, Dad, that was so much fun. Can we do that again? And the whole plane burst out into laughter. But then the pilot got on and he said, okay, folks, that was really powerful. Now we're going to continue our journey. Aren't I a great pilot? We got through that. So I was thinking about today, I was like, what wonderful words of influence. So you're going to remember this story as we go on. I'm going to share my screen so we can hop into the PowerPoint presentation that I have prepared for you today. But I do want you to remember that story because we're going to loop back to it from time to time. All right. So when I think about that pilot, he was a real marketer. He sold himself to me. And it also made me realize, I like flying because these pilots, they have confidence. So every single one of you on here, you're already marketing to individuals, but you're not getting paid for it. And how do we do that? Well, somebody steps up to us and says, oh my gosh, your makeup is so gorgeous. Well, thank you. I get it from blah, blah, blah. And you've already sent somebody to that store that is just complimenting you. What about restaurants? Do you guys talk about restaurants to your friends? Do you say, oh my gosh, you've got to go try this new pizza place. It's just amazing. And your friend gets excited because you are excited. So what's the difference when it comes to the patches? So let's say that this is Sally here and she has these brand new shoes. Now, I want everybody to think about it for a minute. How many times have you put on a new outfit and you just felt like you were the bee's knees? It made you feel confident. It made you feel happy. It's just clothes. It's just shoes. It's just makeup. But what's going on here? So Sally has these new shoes and she's so cute. The shoes are so cute. They make her feel confident. She walks into a room and she hears, "Oh my gosh, your shoes, they are just so lovely." And so what happens next is she lights up and she's happy to share. She shares where she bought them. She tells about her experience and how she feels in them. So she becomes the hero of the conversation because someone noticed. Now, you guys know, as a metaphysician, I'm going to bring it back into our mental status. It's going to be about what we're thinking about, how we operate based off what we think and how we feel. But she tries the patches. Now she's curious about these patches and she might feel something kind of subtle, but maybe she doesn't. How many of you have put a patch on and you didn't feel anything at all? Well, how do you go about talking to somebody about something that doesn't make you feel like a pair of shoes or a dress does? So no one says, "Oh, wow, your stem cells look so amazing today." Nobody can see your stem cells. So she doesn't get any external validation. So she keeps it quiet and she doesn't share about the patches. And the reason for this is because society has conditioned us to share what gets noticed, what gets praised, what gets socially rewarded. So I have a question for all of you right now. Are you only willing to share when someone else notices the change? Or are you willing to lead because you noticed? Right? Are you willing to lead because you noticed? Nobody else has to notice it. Like nobody noticed the energy that I had in my body. However, 8 months later, when my face clears up from age spots and everything, everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing? You're looking so young." Does that help me to share the patches? Yes, it does. But I am not constantly looking for external validation in order to share the patches. So let's dive deeper into this whole concept here. So Sally's like my shoes? How many times are you guys asking that question when you go out somewhere? Like the way I look? Do you like my energy? Nobody is asking that. So let's talk about shoes versus patches because it's going to be really easy to relate to. So why do people not share? The biggest one is going to be the fear of judgment. What will people think if I talk about this product or opportunity? That is the very number one thing, guys, is that you're afraid what somebody else is going to say. You're afraid of rejection. You're afraid of being made fun of. You're afraid that you don't know enough. But I'm going to show you all about that today and how to reframe that. A lot of people do not like sounding salesy. They'll tell you, "Oh, I don't like sales." Why is that? Why do they not like sales? I mean, they go to the grocery store and they're buying stuff. They love going to makeup counters to buy stuff. So what would make the difference in this? So we've been conditioned to believe selling is manipulative. Selling is manipulative. But really, we got to think about it in a different way. We are going to get to that. Another reason why people do not share is because they lack the belief or clarity in the product. So if they aren't 100% sold on what's being done, what's happening, what's going on with them, they're going to hesitate. But you see, we already have systems in place that while our belief is building, while our clarity is building, we've got opportunity calls, we've got videos to share. And we're like, I'm just starting. But why don't you watch this video? Because I watched it and I found it very informative and I'd like to know what you liked about it. Right? Very easy, very clear. So you don't have to know it all. You don't have to have that full belief of knockdown belief just yet. Many overcomplicate. So the reason that they don't share is because they're overcomplicating things. They're not making it easy for themselves, but the company has already made it easy. And if the company hasn't done that for you, your team leader is definitely going to make that easier for you. So they don't know how to share without sounding salesy because they feel that they have to know it all. And the other thing is that they separate business from real life, forgetting that word of mouth is business. So I see a lot of massage therapists that are always complaining they don't have enough business. I never had that problem. I had the problem that I needed to hire more people to handle all the work that I had because I networked. So we get this idea of, ooh, network, that's a bad word, network. But you're networking every single day. When you go to church, you're networking, you're meeting people, you're finding out what they like and what they don't like. You're finding out how you can help them. They're also finding out how they can help you. But if you go to church and you're standing in the corner, nobody's going to know what they can do for you. And if you'll remember the last video that I did or the training that we did last week, you have to let people know what you want. And so that's where we get this big disconnect. So we're going to reframe all of these by asking the right questions and the right statements. So let's move on to this next slide. But before we do, well, actually, we're going to go ahead and do this, and then we'll move on to the what I want to share with you to give you some contrast. So we're going to flip the script from fear to confidence. Remember, the first one is, what will people think if I talk about this product? What if we started waking up? Now, remember, this is going to go back to the pilot. He was like, wasn't that fascinating? Aren't I a great pilot? Now it's clear sailing. What if every morning you woke up, instead of thinking, what will people think of me if I talk about this product or opportunity, that you wake up every morning and you say, they'll probably ask me what I'm doing to look so good. Would that kind of change your perspective when you walk into any grocery store or any restaurant and people are looking at you and you begin to think, "Ooh, I would love to share the information about this patch with them." What about women that step up to you in the store and say, "Oh my gosh, you are so beautiful." Now, for me, I say thank you so much. And because you've made that compliment, it allows me to know that you're very confident in yourself. So start saying to yourself, they'll probably ask me what I'm doing to look so good. And then you've got to lead in. But it shifts the whole frequency, it shifts the whole energy. And now people are going to be asking you, what are you doing, without you having to tell them or having to convince them or having to reach out. They're just naturally going to do it. I don't want to come off like I'm selling something. Well, you don't have to. That's the beauty of network marketing, is you don't have to sell anything. They're either going to take it or leave it. So basically, all you're doing is you're sharing. I'm just sharing what helped me. Take it or leave it. So if you start sharing with someone and they go negative with it and they want to start, complaining about it, just say, you know what, I'm just sharing. This helped me. I thought it might help you, but that's okay. It's not for everyone. But here, while I'm speaking on this, I want you guys to know, I'd like for you to screenshot this, and I'm going to give you another opportunity to do that. These things need to come from you innately. They need to come from within you in such a way filled with confidence and grace that it just rolls from your tongue. That no matter what they say, you've got the response there. But here's the other thing, is that if we're not practicing that and making it better, then we're always going to be stumbling. So the best way to get better at the innate and the intelligence that's within you to rise up is just to continue to talk. Don't feel like you know everything. And before we started the Zoom, I was telling Gregory, I said, I always have the butterflies no matter how many times I've done this. Now, I've acted, I've sung in front of people, I've done so many things, but that doesn't mean that those butterflies don't come up. And the butterflies, I've learned, are good things. They're pushing me to do even better. It's pushing me to say, I can do my best today. So I shared this because A lot of you have some information that you would like to share too. Maybe you'd like to present on the biz chat, but then that negativity comes up of like, oh, well, I don't know how to do a PowerPoint, or I'm afraid that people aren't going to like what I have to say. Whatever the case may be, we can always talk ourselves out of things. So how about if we start talking ourselves into things and realize that we don't have to do perfect or be perfect, that we learn along the way. And in network marketing, that's what we're doing. We're learning along the way. And how amazing is that? You know, because if you sign up as a network marketer, or let's say a marketing director, they're paying you and they expect you to know what you should be doing. And if you're not doing what they expect you to be doing, they're not going to sit and wait for you. They're going to let you go. In this company, it works different. You get on the job training. I I tell you, and your income is based on your own self limitation or your ability to free yourself from that limitation. And it's all going to be starting with how we communicate, how we present ourselves, not necessarily on a Zoom or anything, but how we present our energy. How does our energy come forward? And trust me, every single one of these items that we're talking about today is energy that can now be felt by others around you. So if you're afraid that you're going to start sounding like you're salesy, people are automatically going to be like, oh, what's she up to? What agenda does she have? And you haven't even opened up your mouth. So let's flip the script on this one. I'm not sure it's working for me. Oh, I know a lot of people have said that. A lot of people have not shared the patches because they're not sure that it's working for them. Because why? Society teaches us that we get rewarded based on that reward coming from external source instead of the internal source. So let's flip it. And I love this. I'm still early in my journey, but I'm already sleeping better. Boom. I'm early in my journey, but I just can't wait to share this with people because right now I'm sleeping better and I am a horrible sleeper. And it doesn't have to be that. It can be, I have so much more energy now. I feel so much better than I have in years. Make it be authentic. Allow it to come up. Now, here's the next one. I don't know how to say it right. That's the beauty of it, right? Sometimes I love when I mess up when I speak because it allows you guys to see me as that everybody messes up I'm relatable when I mess up. It's okay. So here's something you can say. Hey, I don't have all the words, but this helped me feel better. Want to see it? Want to watch a video? These are all really great opportunities for you to look at how to flip that script from fear to confidence. Now, I want everybody to get their fingers ready because I'm going to ask you to get into the chat. We are going to be looking at the chat. How many of you know what the features are of the patches? All right, so go ahead and start dropping it in the chat, whatever feature you think it is. Now, this is not a test. I don't want everybody to freeze up. There are no wrong answers. We are all here to learn together. So I'm not going to call anybody out and say, well, Becca, that's not a feature and you should know better by now. I'm not going to do that to you. Okay. So go ahead in the chat, write, what are the features of the patches? And I'll explain why that's important for us to know this in the next few slides. Benefits. Now I'll get your fingers really wired up because what I want to hear from you are what are the benefits of the patches? Now, this can be personal to you. It can be stuff that you've seen from other people. It can be things that you've heard on miracle calls, whatever it is. What are the benefits of the patches? While you guys are typing that in, I want to share another quick story that's going to bring all of this together. There are two new restaurants that opened up here in Commerce, Texas. One of them is a curry place, and we love Indian food. So we walk in And they just two people step up to the register and they're just smiling. And we're like, we didn't even know that you guys were here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we're glad you came in. Well, I see you sell tacos and Indian food. How did that work? Oh, well, we used to have a partner, but they're no longer our partner. But you can order whatever you want. I was like, okay, well, I kind of know Indian food. I kind of know what I like. So we stumbled. We sat there and looked at the menu for a long time, picking out what we wanted without any assistance. No, their food is good. I'm not claiming that they're not. Their food is good. But I want you to stick with that story for a minute. Now, another place is a wings place here in Commerce. And our son came to visit us the 4th of July, and we wanted him to try something new. And we took him there. It was late at night, and I decided to get shrimp tacos. The lady at the register said, "Oh, do you like spicy food?" Well, I don't want it really spicy. Is there a way to not make it so spicy? And she goes, "No, I'm just telling you, my husband loves spicy food and he couldn't eat this." Now, mind you, that's a lady at the register. So I say, okay, well, just leave off whatever's hot and spicy then, if that's the case. But a young man is standing behind the counter. He's the cook, he's the chef. And he says, "Ma'am," he says, "these really aren't that spicy." And I was like, "Really?" Because she said, and the register lady was dead set on committing to that story. But this young man kept shaking his head, and he said, "No, no, 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 they're not." He said, "But I'm happy to leave the jalapenos off for you." I said, "Yeah, let's do that. But you know what? You've convinced me. You have convinced me that I need to try your food. You have convinced me that I need a new experience, and I need to have this experience based on what you love, the joy that you are bringing to me right now." I said this out loud for everybody to hear. I said, "I can't wait to try those tacos." So I went and I sat down, and the tacos came out, and they were so yummy. They were so delicious, and they weren't spicy at all. I told him, "Do not change your recipe in any way. I want to eat it exactly the way that you would make it, less the or minus those jalapenos." Now, let's go back to the curry place. They are publishing online. Please come and do business with us. We're a single owned business. We're sole proprietors, and we would really like to stay in commerce. But right now, the business isn't really pepping up for us. So we're going to give you this special. Okay. Mind blown right there, because we don't reduce our prices in order to increase value. All right. So that's a number one thing we all need to remember, is that these patches are not overpriced. They are exactly the benefit and the value that we get. Okay. On the other flip side of this, people are in that wing place because this guy is now sharing with people how wonderful his food is, how he loves to cook this food. If the curry people would do the same exact thing, they would see an explosion in their business. Now, I give you that example because we're going to talk about these features. Let me go look at the chat really quick um, and see that. Very good. You guys are rock stars in this stuff. Very, very good. Awesome. Let's go on to, let's be clear on the differences. When I asked you to put into the chat, what are some of the features, and then asked you about the benefits. So the features, most people talk about features and how it works. So for the features of the patch, we're talking activates your GHKQ peptide. It signals the body to reset over 4,000 genes. It stimulates natural stem cell production. Those are the features. That's what it does for us. Now, we don't sell on features, guys. And how do we know that? because we can look at the curry place that has these features of that this is the menu. That's their feature. This is the menu. And all it's going to do is it's going to fill your stomach. That's it. However, there was a huge feature in the wing place that was going on, and I was going to get an experience. So it still filled my stomach. It still had some other features. One of the features we decided to leave off with the jalapenos. Okay. But the benefits. People are moved by benefits. What does it do to them? So when we're going back to the story of the young boy who's in the plane and he's, vomiting in the vomit bag, and he's not thinking he likes this ride. He realizes, well, that was so enjoyable. Can we do that again, Dad? Because it made him feel exhilarated. It made him feel like when you survive a storm like that, you feel invigorated. I mean, you're like, thank you, God. And it's just like something shifts in you. So the benefits of the wing place over the curry place is that the person provided me with a different experience. What was it in for me was the deeper experience. Try my cooking the way that I cook it. And then you can tell me. Well, I can tell you, I sang this guy's praises all the way out. I was like, thank you. So for the benefits, these are just some of the examples. You guys put so many beautiful comments in there. It's absolutely beautiful. And so, like I said, there's no right or wrong answers. But if you happen to put some of the benefits that it stimulates your natural stem cells, I want you to shift your thinking back over to that's a feature. But we have to have features plus benefits in order for people to want to do business with us. So the benefits, some of you wrote this down: faster recovery from pain or injury, feeling more energy. I saw that going on, more stamina, better sleep, helps you to feel like yourself again. So those are the benefits. If you are only telling people about the features of the patches, it's going to be a harder communication style. And they're going to want to know, well, how does it activate my peptides? Well, how is it stimulated? What's in the patch? What's going on here? But if I skip over that and say, oh my gosh, the best thing about this patch is it's wearable and it's stimulating my stem cells while I work and I get to continue to enjoy my day. And I have never felt better. Okay, so I've already taken out that somebody's going to want to be asking me, well, what's in the patch? Their only focus now is that I feel better, and they want to as well. So how do you talk about the patch? So some of you go ahead in there. Do you talk about, like, are you talking about the feature only, or are you only talking about the benefit? Because if you only talk about the benefit, you haven't provided the full package yet. You have to do both. It has to be the feature and it has to be the benefit, and it has to be how you make them feel, right? So how to make it stick emotionally. That's this next part. You got your feature, you got your benefit. Now we're going to attack them in with the feeling of it. And I believe I've heard Robin say this before, but it may have been someone else. So please excuse me if it was, but I think I've heard it so many times. It's just stuck and I don't even know where it's coming from. Facts tell, feelings sell. Facts tell, feelings sell. So what did it feel like when things started to shift? That's what people want. They don't buy peptides. They buy peace, confidence, energy. So when a lady comes up and says, oh my gosh, you look so beautiful. Oh yes, I've got this new makeup and I go over to Ultra and this is where I get it. And I can tell you, I get so many compliments. Do you think that person's going to want that now? Yes. They're not going to, they may not even want to know what's in that makeup now. All they want is they want that confidence. They want that beauty. They want that relief. And we're missing that because, as I said last week, what we want is what we give. And when we give what we want, we receive more of that back. So can you see how the two of these really build very nicely on one another and bringing the whole story together as I've got my feature, I've got my benefit, and now I have my emotional hook. Now, some people might say, but I don't like that word hook. Okay, but it is what hooks them. It's what matters to them. Remember, they don't care what they can do for you. They care how you can make them feel. All right. So, how do you weave that into your presentations when you do the patches is all up to you. But I will tell you this, it's draining sometimes, is that nobody wants to sit through an hour-long presentation that's not exciting them. So think about it. You're the entertainer. You're the entertainer. You're getting them engaged. You're getting them excited. When you do these two things, you get to enroll them. So don't worry if the whole thing goes in chaos. Everybody's like, oh, but wait a minute, that was so chaotic. And everybody was talking over one another. Yes, they were talking over one another because they were excited. They were engaged. They were asking the questions. They didn't even care about the presentation anymore. All they knew is they wanted that product. They wanted you. They wanted to feel the way you feel. So if you are doing a presentation and people say, oh, that's what I want that, then you've got them. And don't go continuing talking about your presentation because then you'll lose them. Once you've hooked them, you need to engage with them and get them enrolled as quickly as possible. And this is something that I teach my team. I think it's really working for them. Oops, sorry about that. All right, so this is golden. So everybody, I'm giving you another opportunity to flip the script from fear to confidence and screenshot this. I see that a lot of you have just hopped on. I'm really sorry about that. You'll be able to watch the recording on Live Younger. But go ahead and capture this screenshot so we're not going back to the other. And please put into practice, those of you that are just joining on, listen to this recording. Ask yourself those same questions. When you get to the recording, pause for a minute and say, okay, what do I think the features are? Don't jump ahead. You're not going to learn anything that way by just listening to the answer. You know, one of the greatest advantages that I had growing up with educators is they never gave me the answer. They never gave me the answer. They said, Velvet, you got to learn how to find it. We're not here to give you the answer. Figure it out for yourself. I'll never forget doing dishes at my granny's house. And I walked over to my mom. All the adults are over at the little sit to, and I'm taking the dishes out. And I was like, where did this silverware go? And my mom would tell me. I was like, well, where did the glasses? I came back over. Where did the glasses go? She looked at me with that firm look and she said, figure it out. It was the greatest moment in my life. You know, I see that as empowering. I didn't see it as that my mother was being mean to me. I was like, my mother believes in me. I we just really have got to learn to flip that script. So if people have been negative to you in the past, you got to think about, what are they showing me here? What are they giving me that I can do better? So now enroll them. Use your story. Start with what you noticed: energy, sleep, mood, clarity. I always invite myself or, introduce myself as the human bug zapper at every single presentation. That's what I do. I love transforming lives. And let me tell you, I transform my life every single day. And it allows me to start talking about the patches and how I transform people's lives with the patches. And then make it personal. Think of someone who needs this. When you're really thinking about, well, I don't have any more friends to talk to about this, you're going to find that there are more people than you think that need this. So reach out with care, not pressure. I'm going to give you guys a bonus here. When you're communicating, we're already using social media. When you're using social media, what I see a lot of people do is just like and love posts, but they're really not engaging with the author. They're not letting the author know, hey, you really wrote this post today that really touched me. And I would like to have a chat with you. I'd like to get to know you more. It's not with a hidden agenda to tell them about the patches, folks. It's about building those genuine relationships, and think about how many thousands of people are on LinkedIn and social media that you're not engaging with because your whole focus is on selling them something. Oh, well, I'm not going to connect with this person because they might see that I'm trying to sell LifeWave, or I'm not going to connect with this person because they're not going to be interested in LifeWave. They may not be, but they may know somebody who needs it. So just like the makeup, you've talked to maybe 5 people about that makeup now, or maybe that restaurant now. And each one of those 5 people are now going to say, oh, so and so told me about this amazing restaurant. You've got to go check it out. Now they tell 5 people, do you see how this works? So if you're relying on your own resources, then you don't realize how amazing source and supply is and where it's coming from. And that's coming from all around you. It doesn't, and it's coming from within you, but it's coming all around you. And it's going to come through other people as well. So pay attention to your clues. That was just a bonus. Okay. And then make sure you ask a curiosity question. Want to know why I'm feeling so different lately? So when clients started seeing, Velvet, your face is looking different. What's going on? I'm like, have you noticed? Did you notice I had that big old brown spot on my face last year? Yeah, but you look like your skin has cleared up. Yeah, I got to tell you about this product. See how easy that is, right? What if you're standing up taller? Okay. So, people say, you look taller. Yeah. Would you like to know what's doing that? You just have to ask that curiosity question, and then always point them to a tool, send them to a short video, let them visit your website, invite them to a patch event. Remember, it's not about all that you know, it's about how to find the information. Get that information to them. So you don't need to know the patent of the patches to know that they work. And matter of fact, that's going to lose a lot of people. There's only a few people that are going to be able to say, oh, patent, okay, this gives it value, this gives it credibility. But a lot of people are going to say it, well, so what? What's it going to do for me? Because that's what they're focused on, is what is it going to do for me? All right. So let's stop that record, or let's stop that PowerPoint presentation, check in on the time. And then I'm going to check in on some of Jade writes, relaxing for my fur babies. I think that's why our animals are always wanting to be in our laps now, is because we've got our patches on and that they are just drawn to it. So, well, thank you, Trina. I appreciate your compliment there. Yeah, so let's go ahead and open it up for some questions if you have, or maybe an experience. But while you guys are getting your hands up to ask a question or to share your personal experience, I want to let you know that when Barbara Larrabee introduced me to the patch, she knew who I was. Like, she knew I was a massage therapist. She knew I was a metaphysician. She knew I did quantum biofeedback. She never went into the science of the patch. Never. She knew I had an issue, and she reached out and shared her experience. And then she said, I'm not sure what it will do for you because everybody is different, but it might be worth a try. And I was like, well, great. So is there something in the patch? She goes, no, it's just light therapy. I said, send them to me. Send them to me. That's all I needed to hear. It clicked with me. But some people that we're working with, they hear light and they might get a little scared. And you might be experiencing that. Well, light, where's that light coming from? What are you talking about? Energy. That's not a good word, energy. We're not energy. And we have to educate people that yes, we are energy and that we do emit a light. But maybe those aren't the people that we get so scientific with, but rather be gentle with them in saying, all I can share with you, or all I can say, is that this has really transformed a lot of lives. And if you're looking for transformation, if you're looking to feeling better, then I invite you to join me on a Monday Morning Miracle, or maybe a patch power hour, or power of the patch, whatever the case may be, where you are at that time. Maybe even a doc talk can do it. And if they get too complicated, then they're looking at their own self-doubt. They're looking at some other ways, and you just have to be gentle with them. All right. So comments, questions.
How about if you raise your hand?
I love what Trina said. She said 100%. I had a customer send me a referral and got my highest sale from that one referral, $528 order. See how amazing that is.
This
I
is
love, go ahead,
this
Robin.
was
I'm sorry.
amazing, Dr. Velvet. We are so grateful.
Absolutely.
I think you touched a lot of people, and I love the, facts tell, feelings sell. It's like that poem from Maya Angelou. People don't remember what you do, they don't remember what you said, they remember how you made them feel.
Yeah.
And, we're in the business of giving hope to people. And it is, a sense of responsibility, I feel, to share. So, Emily, you've got your hand up. You want to unmute?
I do. This was a wonderful, wonderful presentation. I apologize for getting here late, but I'm going to review what I missed in the early part tomorrow. But absolutely wonderful. I'm a nurse, healer, empathy, compassion, my sensitivities. And so I come with that too. I'm like apple pie, bringing them my clients apple pie. And then I'm having the difficulty of following through with the enrolling them in the next step. They want to try the patches. I've got the patches on them. And then do I get the video out in a timely manner? Not so much. Do I like need a business partner to let me be the apple pie sharing person and somebody else do that physical enrollment of let's sign you up for this, and I'll figure out all the patches you need and see what can work for your budget, and somebody else sign them up. So that's I'm being vulnerable with my frailties right now, as doing this business, sharing this, wanting transformation for all, and people seeing the magic that it's creating. I mean, they're just seeing it. And sometimes people seem to be in Indiana around me more poor than my peeps in California and peeps in Massachusetts, other areas of the country where I've lived. So I'm I'm not struggling, but I recognize it's a concern for many people, and I don't have my I know Lavelle tells me, well, say this, but I'm not sure those are my words of what I would say to some of these people who really don't have the money and don't have the energy to even figure out what the steps I would tell them to try and do it. So anyway, just some thoughts right now.
So what if we added one of the benefits about how affordable it is? The reality of it is that everybody can afford what they really want, what's important to them. So lots of people go to Starbucks every single morning to get that coffee, right? And they're spending anywhere between $6 and $9 for a coffee, guys. I mean, that's ridiculous. I'm not, if you're able to do that and you love that, that's all fine. But the point is that we all can afford what is important to us. We'll find a way to have that money. So what if we added the benefit is how affordable it is right out of the gate, so that that is taken off the record. And if you're seeing that repeatedly, I would definitely have that as a benefit, is that this is so affordable, and plant that seed, and then get them on the emotional response of that. This is so affordable. This is going to be something I'll be able to do the rest of my life. How did that make all of you feel just hearing that? Did it make you feel hopeful? Did it seem to take away any of the hesitation? This is so affordable. I'll be able to do this the rest of my life. That's the emotional hook, is that I'm going to do this the rest of my life. I feel amazing. And
Thank you, Dr. Velvete.
yeah,
Perfect.
okay, great. And the other thing I would say is that for those of you who are practitioners, and Lavelle, I see your hand, I'll get to you here, but for those of you that are practitioners, the thing that she brought up was about, I love talking about the product, but I need somebody to help me on the closing part. If you're a practitioner, this is the perfect setup for you to get somebody, use one of your administrators to do the closing for you. And here's how easy it is, folks. You do the good part. You're providing the features and the benefits. You've gotten them engaged. Now, here's what you take to check out, and my assistant is going to get you checked out. She's going to get these patches for you. Okay, so that's one of the benefits of having a clinic and a practice, is that you no longer have to do that part. And I'll be the first to admit, as a massage therapist, I didn't want to mess with money. I wanted to stay in the vein of where I was with helping people as the transformer that I was. And if I had to deal with money, I had to switch gears. And I don't want to switch gears. I want to stay in that. So that's something you guys can think about too. If you're really good at getting people engaged, maybe link up with someone on your team that can do that other part. Okay, now I'm going to send you over here because they're going to help get you enrolled. But you have to work with your team on that. I'm just saying what I've been able to do. And if you're practitioners, you'll be wise to know that you don't have to do the enrolling. You've got an assistant that you pay for. You're paying them to be there to do that very thing. So, Lavelle?
Great job, Dr. Velvet. Love your presentation and your thoughts. I think that I was listening to Emily, and I love helping my team. But I think that we all got to understand you can be the apple pie, but always remember that third party validation is everything. You want to
Right.
get other people involved, Emily, and anyone on here. You always, teamwork makes the dream work. It's not, you don't have to be a lone ranger, guys. Don't be the star of your own movie. Get yourself out of the way. Anything but yourself. That's what the master teacher says. A prophet's not honored in his own hometown. Guys, get other people involved in your business. And a couple of things I'd like to share also. You share, Dr. Bellman, is like, believe in the product, believe in the opportunity. But the most important thing, guys, is to believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. And I took down some notes from you, doctor, and some of my thoughts also. Guys, will it hurt or help you to believe in yourself? Think about that for a second. Will it help you or hurt you to believe in yourself? Guys, it's all about your belief. Your belief and your excitement is what will compel people to take a closer look or want to try the products. I remember doing a presentation one time, and I was so excited in another company, but I got everything wrong. But 20 out of 25 people signed up just because I was excited. Guys, you've got to you communicate more with your feelings than you do with your words, guys. So be excited, get out there, keep sharing the story, guys, because as Dr. Velvet said, facts tell. Don't have the fact acts out. Facts don't have the facts acts out. Facts tell, but stories sell, guys. Sell
That's
your
right.
feelings. Just wanted to share
That's
that
right.
with everyone. Thanks so much. Great job, Dr. Velvet.
Lavelle, that is awesome. Yes, and I love that you shared your story about how, you did the presentation. You felt like you screwed up, but the reality of it is that our frequency is what people hear first. They don't care what you have to say. They really don't. And I've told this story before. I used to be a marketing director for an x-ray company, and I would walk into a home and I would just introduce myself, and they were like, "Okay, where do I sign?" And I was like, I didn't even get to do the presentation for you. So there was a part where I felt kind of disappointed because I was so excited about the presentation. But the reality of it is that they feel us before they see us. They feel us before they hear us. So many times we overcomplicate things because we feel like we have to say so much, but we really don't.
Gotta
Yes,
stop
Dr.
talking. You gotta
That's
stop
right.
talking. Once they feeling it, just talking, guys.
I love that. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Lavelle. Dr. Brenda, welcome and thank you for joining us this morning. Yeah, there you go.
Well, good morning to everyone. And the question basically, because I was talking to Rosemary earlier today, you know, my little diehard there. And as we spoke the other day about social media, because my practice is basically virtual. Um, so I am on, you know, the social media path. So getting on there and telling the story, even though I'm on there, I don't like being on there. So if that makes sense, but I still find it's not so much hesitancy, but it's finding the story and, you know, telling my story over and over again, because as you know, the magnificent story that I've had with my husband, that was my aha moment. Um, and so I was watching YouTube last night, and it was YouTube patch people, and the one of them was, I think his name was Dr. Hubbard, or I think that's his name.
Mhm.
And then there was another lady, I didn't catch her name, but I was watching their YouTube videos, and you know, they're showing the patches and whatnot, you know, and explaining about what the different patches do. So I'm just, and when we spoke the other day, not showing the patches as it was mentioned, because that leads people to go and research stuff and look at other things. So still moving myself in the direction of putting the word out there, because I am so anxious. I'm teetering. I'm on the fence. It's just like I got to do this today, and start getting the word out there, and starting with my story. I guess that's what, because it's really, I'm not really having a question per se, but I'm just saying where I am in this process of I need to jump off the bridge now. You know, just get going with my social media message. So just me being out there telling a story, is is that the path? This is my question now. Is that the path that I am going to take to start getting the message out there about these patches? I've got to do something. I can say I'm just burning on the inside, but it's like,
Yeah.
how do I deliver this? Because people may look at, I've done several things. Yeah, I was a massage therapist. I
Okay.
do cranial
Yeah.
sacral, you know, so there's
Okay.
a lot of things that I do, but it's all in the realm of natural. So now I'm
Sure.
adding another layer of bringing people to the table, of moving away from the other stuff that's not helping. And
Okay.
this is like yes, I got to share this. So yeah.
Okay, so let me wrap that up, and that, wrap that into a nice package in what we just presented too. So she's saying that she's ready to jump. She's ready to share. She's got to share that story. Remember, the features, you don't have to share LifeWave in itself, and I would highly recommend not doing that because people are going to start Googling that. But a feature is stem cell activation. So some people are going to wince at that, some people aren't. Uh, a really nice feature is that it's a wearable technology. So you can start with that and then start feeding on the benefit that you received and weave your story into the feature, to the benefit, and then the emotional hook. How does that make you feel that your husband is doing so great? It provides joy to you. He's got greater freedom. He got to go on a vacation trip with you, and he hasn't been able to do that. Those are going to be the stories that people are going to be looking at and are going to say, hey, you shared your story about your husband not being able to do this. I'd like to know more of what happened. And you don't know what's going to work just one time. You guys, that's the other thing. You can't just do this one time
Right.
and say, oh, it didn't work. You have to do it multiple times. You also have to put the energy out there of being welcoming to receiving, because what do a lot of us do is we put a social media post out there and like, oh gosh, what if somebody responds to me? What do I do now? So do away with that energy too, and just keep putting it out there, so that the right people come to you. The right people are going to find you. All right. Thank you for sharing that, Brenda.
You're welcome.
Sunshower. Yeah.
Dr. Velvete, you're such a great presenter. And a lot of people that are here today maybe don't feel that way. And if you're new to network marketing and the whole idea of sharing and creating a team and everything, it could be daunting. So I may sound like a broken record, but here's a thought that came to me, not just about the three-way call, but if you're brand new and you want that support, have your upline or someone that you know you can work with, upline, sponsor, join with you, meaning have a time set. So you ask the person, would you like to watch a 2-minute video with me right now? And your upline knows you're doing this right now. And so you watch it with them and you then say, what did you like best about this video? And either an objection or a question will come up and you go, that's a great question. I really don't know I'm so new. Hang on, I'm going to get my friend and name the person who's been doing this a bunch of years and is really good at this. And I really love her or him. And hang on, I'm going to get them on the line. Boom, now you've passed the baton. It's a big step, you guys. But if you don't take it, your business will grow slower.
And Sunshower, you bring up a good point because you're showing them how easy it is for them to also do the same. If they feel that they have to know everything and be a scientist to do these patches, they're going to I can't do this. So we want to make it easy for everybody that they can, right? We want to make it easy for everybody. I wish I could do all the hearts in the chat. I love you guys back. I'm so grateful to see that you guys found this beneficial because that's what we're here for. We're here to help each other grow. And maybe there's something that that you would like to share sometime. So I encourage you guys to step outside of the box and just really start showing yourselves because it's going to make it easier to share the patch and your people are going to want to see you too. All right. So thank you guys so much. Robin and Gregory, are you guys still here? All right, I don't think that they're still here, so I'd like to go ahead and end this with you guys today. And just if you want to open up your mics and just give a shout out.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is wonderful.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Dr.
Thank you,
Velvet.
Dr.
Bye.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dr.
Wonderful
Velvet. Dr.
presentation. Thank you
Velvet.
so much.
Well,
Great
Very
job.
helpful.
Thank you so much.
great
Good
stuff.
night.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, be good.
Everybody.